Los Angeles has a rich history of supporting creative endeavors, and that is very apparent where we are today, the Los Angeles Municipal Art Gallery. What does this gallery mean to the city of Los Angeles and to the Department of Cultural Affairs?
This gallery is such a treasure to the city of Los Angeles. It was created in 1954 as a means to start opening up opportunities for Los Angeles and Southern California artists.
What is the exhibit that you're curating that is being showcased now?
This is the open call Apophenia, and it's in honor of the 70th anniversary of the gallery's history. We're revisiting the open call format, which was meant to include as many artists living and working in Los Angeles today.
Whose art is here, and what was the scope of what you were asking for?
350 artists showed up to our doorsteps over the span of 2 days, and Nancy and I had the task to arrange everything.
Did you accept everything, by the way?
Yes, we didn't turn anyone away at the door who met our requirements.
Wow. The title of this exhibit, Apophenia?
Apophenia.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Well, so the title is derived from an artwork in the exhibition. We did some research and looked into it because none of us really knew what the word meant. And it sounded like something we should know. Apophenia means the tendency to want to perceive or make meaning among unrelated and random things, such as objects and ideas. So we thought that in this situation for the open call, with so many artworks that are in the show that are so different from one another, but also our curatorial approach in trying to make sense of the show, we thought that the exhibition should be aptly named Apophenia.
What does having a gallery like this mean to the city of Los Angeles, reflecting the tapestry of the wonderful artistry here? But why is it important to the city?
We as a city are so lucky to have the Municipal Art Gallery, and so grateful for Aline Barnsdall's vision for creating the campus that we have here. What we are able to do here, as well as many of our other galleries throughout the city, is really be able to exhibit artists that wouldn't necessarily, but may or may not have other opportunities to be able to exhibit. And looking at ways we do that, the gallery has been very forward-thinking about how it works and how it operates and how it brings in artists, even going back to curators from 50 years ago, thinking about how they were looking to lift up artists and present artists, women and people of color, to really open up those types of opportunities and thinking about how those artists have taken this opportunity as an entry point to be able to then go and present and exhibit locally at greater scales, and as well as nationally and internationally. So it really is a jumping off point. And then secondly, this gallery and the work that we do speaks to the cultural tapestry and the framework of what the city is. So it represents and it tells the story of Los Angeles. So it's very exciting to be able to have this as a space to exhibit both new artists as well as experienced artists.
When you curate something, what's the process? You just look at everything in front of you and decide, I don't know where to put this. Or you look at everything in front of you and something comes into your mind, you visualize where things go. How was this show curated?
It was a 2-day, so we began with intaking artwork, and that was a 2-day process where artworks were dropped off, they were condition reported, and then kept away in the galleries. And then the following week, Nancy and I looked at all of the artwork together, and we slowly started to sort things out. And it was really interesting to see that a big bulk of the artwork submitted was referencing Los Angeles imagery. So that was our first starting point to begin to organize 350 artworks.
Are you noticing a trend in contemporary art, or is it really all over the place?
In this particular show, or in general?
In this show.
The works are very different. Everything is quite unique. So I cannot identify a specific trend. Can you?
I think the through line of all of the works here is seeing what artists are making now. And I think it's very, I don't know, I think this is a reflection of what artists are making now. And I think it really demonstrates that a lot of artists are at home in their limited space and making work within those confines.
Oh, interesting.
And I think that's what you kind of see here. Obviously, the pandemic was a very meaningful shift in a lot of people's routines and lives. And I think the artwork here kind of reflects how artists are approaching art making now.
The reason I ask is because sometimes art is political, sometimes art is expression of internal turmoil, sometimes art is celebration of life and beauty and joy. But to your point, obviously the pandemic changed something in the life of an artist to show that, and so you saw that in what is being brought in today.
Yeah.
Do you look at art from the Department of Cultural Affairs as kind of a timeline and a history of the city?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think art tells a story, and art inspires conversation. So as you look at it, and as I think about many of the different shows we've had here, as well as at our Watts Towers Art Center and our William Grant Still Art Center, the shows do tell a story. The shows do show an evolution, and it shows movement forward, it shows steps back, it shows challenges that we've had as a city, as individual cultures within a larger culture, and art inspires that conversation.
And one of the things I think is fascinating about contemporary art is that you never actually know what the impact is going to be until you get a little bit of an arm's length on it, because you see some of the things today and you may not realize its cultural and historic import until we have a little bit of perspective. But the problem with contemporary art is sometimes it's inexplicable. And sometimes those that don't have experience with it are intimidated or may not quite understand, and now you have this. So what are you doing here so that you can make it more available to people who may not have an experience with fine art or may not understand it? I mean, how is it being not just curated, but shared for somebody who can bring a family and say, I don't know what this means, and you can figure it out?
Well, first off, I think it's important that we present an exhibition that's subjective. I mean, it really is up to the viewer on how they want to experience the work, and we create the opportunity to inform visitors as much as possible by talking with our gallery attendants and informing them of some of the talking points. And there are certain things that are thematic and that do need some discussion and some context around it, but overall we want to invite the viewer to experience it in the way that they would like to.
So if someone wants to come to the exhibit and they kind of want a little bit of a handheld experience, is that opportunity available to them? Is there a book? Are you giving tour? What's going on a practical level so people can enjoy it?
So when guests enter the gallery, they're going to be often greeted by our fabulous gallery attendants, and they do an amazing job of teaching the public and about the exhibition and our programs and our shows.
Okay, so let's do the nuts and bolts. If somebody wants to come and see the exhibit, when's it open? How much does it cost? That kind of thing.
The gallery is free. Folks are welcome to check out our website, LAMag.org, for more information about upcoming exhibits. Our gallery hours are Thursday through Saturday, 11 to 4 p.m. Folks are also welcome to check out culturela.org to see all variety of programs taking place in the city.
A small plug for the rest of the campus as well. I believe Holly House is open during those same hours. So there are opportunities to also go for tours over there. Those tours do need to be booked in advance, though.
I hope that we get to come back and see more exhibits.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap on this artistic LA Current.